Yes, so in the previous two slides we have done about the pronouns, the antecedent, then we excuse me, we dealt with personal pronouns, possessive pronouns and demonstrative pronouns. Now let's see what do we have next. Now we have interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are very simple. These are WH words or how, and these they ask questions. So very important thing you need to understand is when WH words they come in a question in an interrogative sentence, then these are interrogative pronouns. But again the same question, we have interrogative adjectives also. How do we differentiate? If after the WH word or how we have a noun, then it is interrogative adjective. But if after WH words or how we have no noun, then it is interrogative pronoun. Let us look for an example here. Who are you talking to? So here who, we don't have a noun after it. It is an interrogative pronoun. Whom did you give the packet? Whom, we don't have a noun after it. It is an interrogative pronoun. And which dress will you wear for the party? After which we have a noun, so it is interrogative adjective. Now interrogative pronouns can act both as a subject and an object. We've already seen the examples like who bought you the flowers. Here who is acting as a subject in a sentence, so it is interrogative pronoun acting as a subject. To whom are you going to meet today? This here it is acting as an object, so it is interrogative pronoun of object. So now here the important thing that you need to understand, they will always and always come in an interrogative sentence. That is, there will be a question mark in the end. They will ask questions. They will be either WH words or how, and there won't be any noun after it. Next we have is reflexive pronoun. Now these are you have to be very attentive here. Reflexive pronouns are very simple. When you add suffix self or selves to personal pronouns, then you have reflexive pronouns like himself, herself, themselves, yourself, etc. All these words are reflexive pronouns. But the important part is these reflexive pronouns, if you remove it from a sentence, then the sentence loses its meaning. Okay, and they never ever act as a subject in a sentence. They always act as an object in a sentence. It can be direct object, it can be indirect object. Let me give you an example. They locked themselves. So here themselves is the reflexive pronoun. Now if you remove themselves, the sentence will not make complete sense. They locked. Doesn't make any sense here. So themselves is reflexive pronoun. I gave myself a present. So here if you remove myself, it will make sense. Now you will ask me the question, Miss, just now you told that if you remove reflexive pronoun, the sentence loses its meaning. Yes, that's true. But there's an exception. If the reflexive pronoun is acting as an indirect object in a sentence, then even if you remove it, it will make sense. So how do you identify? First, you need to remove the word. If the sentence doesn't make sense, it will be reflexive pronoun. But if it still makes sense, then you have to see whether the reflexive pronoun here is acting as an indirect object or not. If it is acting as an indirect object, then it is reflexive pronoun. Even if it makes sense, then also it is reflexive pronoun. Yeah. So this is reflexive pronoun. Okay. Next we have is emphasizing pronoun. Now what are emphasizing pronoun? Emphasizing pronoun and reflexive pronoun are very similar to each other. Emphasizing pronoun also ends with self or selves. When you add self or selves to personal pronoun, those are also emphasizing pronouns. Now the question arises, how do we differentiate? Reflexive pronouns, sorry, they always act as an object in a sentence. But emphasizing pronoun can act as a subject as well as object. So if in a sentence you have self or selves word like myself, herself, itself, if these words are coming in the subject part or acting as a subject in a sentence, then it is emphasizing pronoun. Next difference. As I told you, reflexive pronoun can act as direct or indirect object. Emphasizing pronoun can also act as an object in a sentence, but it never acts as an indirect object. It either acts as a direct object or it acts as an object of preposition. Third important thing, Reflexive pronouns, if you remove reflexive pronouns, the sentence loses its meaning. But emphasizing pronoun is meant only to emphasize, only to put stress. There is no need of emphasizing pronoun as such, but it is used to put stress. So in that case, if you remove emphasizing pronoun, the sentence will still make sense. Like if I say, I myself cooked the dinner. If you remove myself, the sentence will make sense. I cooked the dinner. So myself is emphasizing pronoun. But if I write, they locked themselves, and I remove themselves, the sentence will not make sense. They locked. What? Whom? So here it is, themselves is reflexive pronoun. Now, as I told you, reflexive pronoun act as direct, indirect object and object of preposition. But emphasizing pronoun never act as an indirect object. So if in a sentence you have an indirect object as the self word, then it has to be reflexive pronoun, because if you remove it, the sentence will still make sense. So don't get confused between emphasizing and reflexive pronoun that way. Yeah, that is the difference between reflexive and emphasizing pronoun. So reflexive pronouns are very important in a sentence, whereas emphasizing pronouns are used only to emphasize or put emphasis in a sentence. The rest of the pronouns we are going to do in the next part. Till then, you will revise all kinds of pronoun and practice. If you have any doubt, kindly get back to the teacher.